A lot of times in our lives, we find ourselves in intimate relationships where we're at odds with one another. I call this shadow boxing, where both of you seem to be at some way, shape, or form just getting on each other's nerves, where you just seem to be, or they just seem to be getting on yours, or you just seem to be getting on theirs. It happens, doesn't it? That's the human condition. That's why I believe that relationships are one of the best places to come do shadow work because it gives you the opportunity to experience. I don't believe that you can actually do shadow work in any place other than relationships. If you think about it, it's when you step into a relationship with a person, place, or thing, and you find that the blueprint, the belief system that you've created, doesn't match the actual material world, where there's a resistance, where there's somehow a misalignment with the way that you want to show up and the way that you are showing up, or the way that they're showing up, or the way that you think that they should show up, or somehow you attack thought, awfulizing, negative bias, you've made them the villain, you are the villain, you're the victim, whatever it is. There's a myriad of different ways that it can show up. But just in those few that I've just given you, you should have several moments where, oh yeah, I do that. Oh yeah, he does that. Oh yeah, she does that. Whatever the case may be. That's because intimate relationships step past the persona. The first layer of our awareness is the persona, how we show up outside. It's that customer service smile. That yes, thank you very much. We show up the way that we think that society tells us that we should show up. Some people's persona is a bit different than others, obviously, right? But we all vary. But at some level, this is how we interact with each other in a societal level. When you get into an intimate relationship, you start to get past that. You start to move past that. I remember when my wife, she used to come to bed every night with makeup on. And one day I looked over at her and I said, are you wearing makeup right now? And she said, yeah. I said, well, why don't you take that off? I bet that's very uncomfortable. She said, oh, you'll never see me without makeup. She was certain. She had certainty. You'll never see me without makeup. You'll never see me with my hair done. And don't get me wrong, she still gets up early and for some reason feels the need to make herself look, and she looks gorgeous, but she looks gorgeous to me without it because I see the true her, right? But she said, you'll never see me without makeup, she said. And then a couple years later, I rolled over and I just noticed, I said, well, I see you're not wearing makeup. She said, oh, no, I don't. I make sure I take that off every night. She said, that's so uncomfortable. It was so amazing to see that transformation, to be able to walk down below that persona and look over at her and see the level of trust that I developed with her, that she was able to let her mask off. Because that's the Latin word for persona is mask. And so she went down. I got to experience her below that. And oh, isn't it true that your significant other can read you at that tectonic level? You show up and you're like, nope, I'm fine. And they know there's something wrong. They can sense there's something wrong. It's because they're already connected to you at a deeper level, past thought. And if that's the case, and if we're connected in those intimate relationships at that level, that would mean that intimate relationships very well may be the best place for you to do your shadow work. And if you're not in a relationship, the question is what is the resistance? Because that's still your relationship with your intimate significant other. Because we are, by nature, we are built to connect. We are built to develop relationships, intimate relationships. That's one of our superpowers, is the way that we have the ability to connect. And so ask yourself, where do you find yourself frustrated? Where do you find yourself triggered? When do you find yourself in one of those examples that I gave you back there? And how are you possibly, just maybe, overlapping one of your patterns of addiction onto this relationship so that you can experience the emotional home that you're sitting at, so that you're doing that? And instead of just doing that, why not experience the emotion, become aware, take consciousness down into the emotion, experience the emotion. Isn't this interesting? What else could this mean? How could this be serving me? And is this how I want to show up? Does this bring out the highest version of me?